Hi, it's Jez here from Nigezza.co.uk. Thanks for joining me today. So today I'm bringing you the video for the scrapbook blog hop that I was on recently, and the theme was M, and we could interpret that in any way we wanted. So I went M for mum and then added dad. So I've made this sort of vintage looking layout with some old photos of my mum and dad. So please keep watching and you'll see the process that I went through to create this. So I'm using 12 by 12 very vanilla to go with this beautiful photo of my mum, and I'm also going to use this lovely photo of my dad. So it's going to be mum and dad. Yeah, so I was kind of thinking about how I was going to present these. So I thought they'd look nice with early espresso card mat, and I've left it a little bit longer at the bottom because I've been doing some fake or faux cabinet cards from my junk journals, and they have like a little bit of extra at the bottom where like the photographer used to put their sort of details. So I thought that would look good and in keeping with the age of these photos. So these would have been that one might have been in the 30s, and then that one would have been into the 40s, I think, judging by the age that they are in those photos. So a little bit late probably for cabinet cards, but I still thought it would look nice. And I wanted sort of like to use like the lace there on mum's first early communion outfit, and so I thought lacy and doilies, so I've gone for the flowering vine dies, and I've gone for the oval one. So I've already pre-cut, and I've gone for crumb cake, and so I just thought that I might just sort of pop them behind the photos and then sort of have one poking out sort of between them. That was kind of the way I was thinking that the eye was going to go, was sort of diagonally down like that. And then I've used Playful Alphabet to cut out mum and dad basically, and I've gone for early espresso for that as well. So I've got my letters there. So it was just then thinking, where am I going to put them? So I was thinking mum and dad was kind of how I thought I would go with that. Thinking I might go down a tad, because I did like, in my last layout, I did sort of tram lines, and I quite like that, and I thought I might do that again. Kind of gives it a nice frame. So that was where I was going, and I've got this our lacy trim, and I thought I might put a bit of that along the bottom of that one, because we've got a nice little lacy trim there on the veil, and then maybe on dad's one just a bit of our linen braided cord there would look nice along there. It kind of goes with this sort of polo shirt thing he's wearing. That were my thoughts. And I was thinking I might do some inking around the outside to give a little sort of sepia effect to the whole thing. So that's basically what my layout's gonna be. So So yeah, so I think the first thing I've got to do is do a little bit of inking, but basically that is how it's going to be. So I'm going to do some blending around the edges. I've got crumb cake and soft suede here, and I washed my brush. I then laid it on the side to dry, and the ink that was on it before was kind of accumulated, but it's not really on there, so I'm sure I thought, oh, I'll wash it again. Then I just thought, oh, I'm going to use it on brown, so it doesn't really matter. So I'm just going to do a bit round the edges. I want to get just some sort of light effects round the edge to give that sort of aged tinge around the edge, to give it a little vintage old look. And I might add a little bit of soft suede if I want a little bit of a darker tinge. So just going gently around the edges, the corners first. This is just right up my street with all my vintage journals that I make, and it is so much fun to be able to do this for a nice 12 by 12 scrapbook layout. I'm really enjoying doing these 12 by 12 scrapbook layouts. Forgotten how much I enjoyed them. And I think some people just think, oh, it's a big space to fill, but it isn't that big really, because I mean, I'm just putting 2 photos on it, and I think the last one I only put 1 photo on, so they don't have to be that big really. Oh, liking that. Bit of exercise there. I'll do it that way as well. There. Funny, I was looking at old photos of my mum because it was Mother's Day, and I do always do that. You usually start the day a little bit of crying, and then I brush myself off and remember that I'm a mummy, and enjoy some time with my boys. Although not that I was with my boys on Mother's Day. One of them came round because he lives around the corner, but the other one doesn't. So I think I do want a bit of soft suede. That's looking good, but I'm thinking I might need a little bit more. So I might go with a little bit of soft suede. Just have a little bit darker. Yeah, might just do this on the corners. I grew up in a house, both my parents smoked. Well, my dad smoked like forever. My mum took it up much later in life, but this is kind of the colour of all the paintwork in our house. And I remember not thinking about it, and I remember going, sort of seeing other people's houses, and they had like white paint on their sort of skirting boards and that, and I was like, oh, that looks so odd. But yeah, there, that is the look I was going for. Quite like that. Looks like an old faded photo, sort of in keeping with that one. Yep, liking that a lot. Like that one. The studio, I love the way they used to touch up studio photos. Absolutely beautiful. Right, so now we can get sticking down. So the first thing I want to do is stick these down to the backs of these. Now I just because it does depend on, if you wanted to sort of do something similar, it does depend on the size of your photo. And I've just given them very little border and a bigger one down there, so they're not the same size because the photos weren't the same size. Obviously not the original photos. I've just printed these on sort of quality paper to do that, and then I'm just going to stick them on here. So I never use original photos. I'm going to use, I think I'm going to use my stamp and seal for this. Yeah, I do never use original photos. I scan them and then print them, and then that way I can use them again and again for different things. And the original is preserved. Oh, before I do that, I just wanted to use some early espresso on the edge of the photo. Forgot about that. So just to edge it. I've gone with early espresso because the darkness here. My dad, never saw my dad dark hair. He was always grey. He started going grey in his 20s, I think. It was a family trait of going prematurely grey. So so Dad was always grey. So just stick that on there. Okay. Yeah, quite like the look of the dark. I was going to do soft suede on this one, but actually when I got the soft suede out, so I thought that would look good. It wasn't quite right. So that's why I went with the early espresso. Makes it pop a bit more. Not as harsh as black, which I think would be wrong with these sepia photos. But I do just love this photo of my mum. It was so exciting as a child to see photos of my parents as children, because of course they're always adults, aren't they? So it was like forgetting that they were once children and maybe felt the same way you did about different things. So yeah, absolutely adore both those photos. I've got another photo of my mum when she's much younger than that, but in the photos her brother and her sister, well, one of her brothers and one of her sisters, she was 1 of 10, and and it was a bit more, I couldn't have cut it out, so gone with this one. I really like this one. I was going to do Mum's first Holy Communion and my first Holy Communion, but then I thought, oh, actually no, Mum and Dad would be better. There we go. So liking that. I think they look good. So I'm going to do a bit of lace around the bottom of this. So I think I'll tuck it round the back. So I'll just cut it there. So attach that, and then this little bit here. So I think I'm going to, the same, I'll attach it around the back, but I think I'm going to put a little knot on it as well. So I'm just going to put a bit of that at each side. So I can stick that to it. Like that. And then the same on this one. I've surprised myself with how quick I've kind of put these 12 by 12 sheets together. When I've done scrapbooking like this in the past, it's took me hours to do a layout, but I just wanted to do fairly quick ones. And hopefully, I know I've got some friends that are into scrapbooking and some that wanted to start getting into scrapbooking. And so it is, just wanted to show that actually it could be quick. So I'm going to take a bit of this and I'm going to poke it up there. And I'm just going to tie a knot. Kind of like the way that's turned out. And then I'll just put a glue dot under it to hold it in place. I think that'll look nice. I think some of the little details that you put on a scrapbook page, that's what makes it sort of interesting. There we go. Liking that. So now it's just a matter of sticking. Oh, managed to get a little bit of a smudge up there. Not sure if it's ink or what, but I don't actually think it particularly matters because it is got an aged look about it. So I've got my doilies that I want to pop under here. Oh, that's not stuck down very well, Jezebel. This would be better. So yeah. That is how we want it. And then we've got our mum and dad. So we want to stick these down. So I've got a bit of Tombow in here. And then we can glue our pictures down. And then we need our mum and dad. I did take a picture of how I did it before. I always find that helps. But I'm liking that. I think that. And I wasn't sure if I needed something in these corners. I've got the leaves from the Vine Designs. I think that might look good. So with the stamp set that goes with the dies is this, and we've got that lovely leaf. So I was thinking I could just fill the corners with a leaf or leave it. really not sure. Now I'm going to go for less is more. So I'm just going to stick my letters down. So yeah, that's it. Liking that. And so I'm going to do the tram lines. So I'm going to get my scoreboard and do some scoring around the edges. So I'm going to come in at, that's 1/4 of an inch, 3/8, might do 3.5. Like that. Got a bit of a smudgy-rooney going on there. And I'm going to do that on all 4 corners. So 1/4, 3/8 and 1/2. And I just think it's a very simple way of adding a little bit of detail. And I do actually think this gives it a very vintage look. And very simple to do. And that's that. That is very quick little layout. M for Mum and Dad. So yeah, hope you like that. I will link to the original blog hop in my blog, so you can go and see what everybody else has done if you're into scrapbooking. And yeah, I think that will look lovely. I might frame that and put that on the wall. Okay, bye for now. All the links down below to my shop, the blog, everything that I've used. And yeah, see you again soon.